without our power and control. Our democracy is highly getting impacted by that every day.
Hi, well, hello, how are you?
Hello.
Could you please tell us a bit about yourself, like who you are, from where you are, how old are you, and maybe something about the rock band that you are performing in?
Yeah. Well, I'm 20. I'm in college and I'm in California. I grew up in this town called Santa Barbara. It's just a little bit out of LA, like a little bit north of LA. And about the band, like we met in college and just some buddies started. I think we originally I met the bassist in a music club, so that was fun.
Uh, okay, could you please tell the story of how Special Forces, it's the name of the band, yeah, was formed and what's inspired the name behind it?
The name Special Forces comes from the the song that we made, Special Forces, but also just like um we kind of took inspiration from other bands like MDC who have a name that can mean multiple different things. But the idea is like there it's like the army and like you're fighting stuff, but the like the forces that live within you or like the forces that affect us day to day that we have to deal with and work through. So that kind of goes with the logo too. It's like a handicap guy with a helmet on.
When I saw the information about your band the first time, I was surprised that it addresses the disability and the challenging the political issues and how these themes connect for you personally.
Disabled people like in music and everything. I feel like the themes within the band, it's mostly just working through what affects. I mean, I'm talking from the heart, like what affected me growing up, how that's kind of it's like everyone's got something. It's not just like a disabled issue. Everyone's got issues, and everyone has to deal with with something. So ultimately, finding that realization and trying to spread that, it's like everyone just at the end of the day wants to be treated the same way, um, and not othered and put down or treated that they're different for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you've said that disability is a big part of your band's message. Can you share a bit, like how are you connected with this topic as well? Uh, do you position yourself as disabled person and why?
Yeah. So I grew up with a stroke since I was 8 months old. So yeah, I would say I'm disabled, but it's kind of harder for people to visually see that. This is the thing with a lot of disabilities that people don't necessarily understand. When it's physical, um, and visually able to see, then people will, I guess, naturally treat you like, or know some kind of, uh, have some kind of idea in their head about what you are about. But there's many different types of people who struggle with, maybe like bipolar or like, uh, autism or different things that aren't necessarily as visually, like identifiable. So with the stroke, it is kind of visual, but it also kind of just looks like I got hurt. I kind of just walk with a limp. So because I skateboard, people just think, oh, I fell on my skateboard. But no, it also affects the way I, process information and I speak a little bit. So I like to joke and say I sound extra Californian. but but yeah, I don't. It's just talking about being authentic and not being freaked out that we're different. Um, but yeah,
Does music and your songs help you to be authentic in this sense?
I think so. Yeah, through music, I think it's easier for me to express myself through not necessarily just words, but also, um sound. The sound of, if you ever watch a movie and it's like a scary movie and there's like a running scene, they have like the scary music and that will give you a certain emotion. So it's the same kind of energy. It's like, oh, this can kind of give a person a certain feeling in their body. So then that has definitely, especially within the punk scene, really helped me manage a lot that has affected me, and it's kind of therapeutic to be in that community for me.
Oh, yes, it's definitely very therapeutic. And also, your performances is something that audience is very involved in as well. And what does it mean for you and for your band to make this like conversation with your audience? And what is actually the process of the performances?
The performances, the
Yeah,
main thing,
how does it, how does it look like? Just for our audience to understand.
the so at a punk show, it's very interactive. The band and the crowd work with each other. At least that's how we like to think about it. The band will have oftentimes like a call and response where like they'll have like a thing that the crowd can say back, or like they'll have, the singer go into the pit and like rile people up, and so everyone will kind of be one unit. It's not the type of music where you're gonna be sitting somewhere and then it's in the background. It's very community based, and, um breaking the fourth wall as much as you can. So a show will have a lot of moshing oftentimes, and with that comes some guidelines. Oftentimes people don't necessarily know what moshing is, so then we try to tell them. It's like, oh, well, it's a very intense way of dancing where you kind of bump into each other a lot, but sometimes people will fall, so you want to pick them up. And also, just while people are moshing, even you want to make a space that's accessible to people so that everyone can have a good time. And so oftentimes we'll have like a circle form, and people who are inside the circle, they're going to be moshing, but outside of the circle, there's people who are making sure that the moshers are keeping their momentum. They don't trip over each other. And if people don't want to mosh, they kind of shield those people away from the moshers too.
I've been thinking about the accessibility, like to participate in these performances. Other disabled people, like for example, the wheelchair users, is it possible to participate in this and or just to watch from the safe position?
100%, 100%, it's possible. In fact, I mean, I there's been a few people who've gone to shows in wheelchairs that we've been to. That like there was a Mosh for Autism show,
Mhm.
and they were like right up front. It was really cool. But I think for to make it accessible for them, I think it's totally possible to have them in the pit potentially and like have a whole circle where
Mhm.
like they go around, or at a festival I've seen people like lift them up and they're like crowd surfing. So it's definitely possible to have some represent like some I guess accommodations or find ways to involve everyone. But venues themselves, I think having ramps and having maybe like a quiet zone or having different things for people with disabilities could
Mhm.
definitely, there could be improvement there, especially at festivals. I think that's the main thing that uh could use it. But local show stuff, I think for sure getting more ramps, because I've noticed that a lot of the venues it's just stairs to get into. So
Do you always consider like the diverse people to see your performance when you organize a concert, or uh, whether is it actually possible to do it all the time?
to make it accessible.
Yeah. To choose the accessible scenes, the accessible venues.
Yeah, we try to do as much as we can to find places like there's a donut shop that we love to play at. It's called Slow Doko, and it's a very little spot, but it's got like a side entrance that people can go into.
Mhm.
Um, there's Humdinger, that's where the Mosh for Autism is at. But yeah, I mean it's something we try to think about. The thing is we're so small, it's like the amount of places that are available are
Mhm.
so many. But I don't know, it's definitely something that I realize and something that I think places need to recognize more.
Mhm. And how many people are in your band?
Oh yeah, it's me, it's my friend Micah, he's the drummer, and then Riley and Tyler, who are the bassist and the guitarist.
Oh, so it's 4 people.
Four people, yeah.
Is there someone who has disability too, or maybe from other marginalized groups?
Yeah, so so Tyler has this thing with his stomach that it like he's got some digestion problem stuff that he has to deal with.
Mhm.
Micah, I think he's just good on his own, but Riley, I'm not entirely sure because we're so new, like we don't talk as much, but I think it's mainly me just with the stroke. But then they have like a few little things too. But yeah, I think it's just they like with them more of what they go through is less of their condition and more of the broader scope of what's happening politically
Mhm.
or socially too. But I also definitely deal with that stuff too. I think everyone does. So we try to talk about that too.
Yeah, because punk Rock has always been a space for rebellion, right?
Yes.
What does rebellion look like in 2025? Like, what issues are the most important?
Rebellion to me in 2025 for the kids, I
Yeah,
think it's just making sure that we have unity and that we try to uplift each other because there's so much division. I mean, Thanksgiving, I can say for my family, there's a bit of a rift politically, but we're still able to talk about it. So it's still being able to speak on issues and still being able to see each other as humans is really important. And also just I think the main thing that I've been thinking about is how two things can be true at the same time, but the media will oftentimes try to pivot in a way where it's more black and white. Um, and so just trying not to fall for that, trying to trying to see everyone and whether you agree or disagree, trying to find more discussion and more just pushing forward instead of just kind of staying stuck. It feels oftentimes like that's how it is, but I know it can it can move past that.
yeah. So is it for you like the movement towards better understanding of each other and somewhat mm, exception of all personalities?
More thinking more instead of a movement, think of like everyone's an individual. So everyone has their own ideas and it's not just 100% one thing or 100% another thing. Just seeing the nuance in things more I think is important.
Have, have you personally had or challenges and barriers yourself in your life because of disability or maybe other issues? And do you reflect such things in your lyrics as well, like in your music?
I for sure think my disability has definitely affected me somewhat, but I don't think it's a bad thing that it's affected me. I think people have this concept of, oh, you're disabled, so you must be suffering. But I actually do think that it's made me get this kind of view of the world that is very important. It's given me a lot of empathy. It's given me a kind of charm too. So I definitely I don't think I will ever be like a jock or like someone who's popular or anything like that. But I think that the challenges I went through have certainly been for the better because they taught me like work ethic and um, just being okay with being different. I mean, that's the main thing. Like being different is actually what makes you cool. So kind of finding the space where like naturally people are kind of different within punk has been really healing.
What names for from popular music inspire you? Like what uh, rock bands from the past or contemporary rock bands do you admire?
Me personally, I draw a lot of inspiration from Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, Bad Brains, Black Flag, and MDC. I feel like those are like my top five. Or, I don't know. I love a lot of different types of music too. I mean, I'm getting into ska and like industrial, and then there's freaking they call it digital hardcore. It's like EDM but punk, which is cool.
Mhm. And
So
what inspires you the most, like the music or personalities or the band leaders?
what inspires me the most is basically this idea that punk can go anywhere, or I guess not even punk, just music can go anywhere. And I I I was talking to this guy, and he's like, you know what? Like, I don't really know what I'm doing when I perform or like go up there with my music, but I think of it like I have a paint bucket, and there's this wall I can paint, and I'm not an artist, but I'm gonna paint the wall. Like I'm still gonna have fun, like kind of doing it. And I think that's really the cool part for me. It's like, oh, like we have an idea and we're just gonna try to pursue it and maybe blend it with different genres or who knows what. um but yeah, like for songs, we have some fun song ideas where we want to have like a pillow fight in the pit, and figuring out how to take that and then work with it and run ideas off of each other to make it happen.
How do you define the DIY philosophy in today's music scene, and why is it so important for you?
DIY, yeah, in today's music, I mean, a lot of the local bands definitely do DIY just because they have to. But I I think it's really fun. I think it's a cool way to go about doing projects and doing the producing things, because it has this raw emotion or energy behind it that you can't necessarily get from something that's more produced. And I think there's something special with that comes, because again, it's not necessarily like the greatest thing, but because someone made it themselves, it kind of gives this different vibe to it, where it's like, oh, I could also do that too. Like I you see great musicians, and I don't know, like Taylor Swift or who knows what, who are like big and they made it. And you're like, oh, well, I don't know if I could ever be like that. But then with DIY, it kind of opens that door for more people. And so I think that's why it's important to me, because it kind of empowers others to just create, even if it's not perfect.
My perception of um, rock music and uh, like any popular music basically is that all of it being produced by able-bodied people, and I don't really see the representation of disabled people in the music scene nowadays. And I believe that in the past it was the same issue. And do you actually know any other music bands or individual performance, who are disabled as well, and who are openly sharing it with audience?
Yeah, I tried to look into that myself, but I believe there's this guy named Wesley Willis. He's
Mm-hmm.
got, I think he had schizophrenia, and he made these. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but the song called "Rock and Roll McDonald's." I don't know. Yeah, it's tricky. It's hard to find, because yeah, I mean, that's the main thing, is like finding people to play with. I was trying to maybe find other people who are disabled to play with, but it's tricky because there's only so many uh people who are like making music or interested in that. I don't That's the thing with me. It's like I don't even visually look disabled necessarily. So then it's like, oh, is that it's kind of making me feel like, well, where's the line? I guess that opens the conversation more to, okay, well, maybe you can't necessarily always see the disability, But then there's an element, it's like, oh, because I maybe look able-bodied, maybe I pass, and so that's why I'm accepted. So it's like, I think there's more to build
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
worth talking about.
After all, how do you think is the issue in that not able-bodied people, it's more difficult for them to perform on the stage and to be musician, or the reason is that disabled people who doesn't have visible disability just hide their disability,
Mm,
or is it both actually? Like it's
yeah,
yeah, it's like non accessibility for being musician and the hiding as well.
I think it could be multiple different things. I mean, and it also depends on the type of music too. I mean, or maybe I don't know. Um, like depending on like what instrument people are definitely like playing. Maybe um, I don't. Yeah, it's tricky. I feel like it's a lot of different things. I think it could be um just having the confidence. A lot of people are just naturally pretty shy, so it could be that. It could be a visual or but I think why there's not as much mainstream is
Mhm.
because people are just kind of with disabilities, people always kind of want to push them to the side and like kind of forget about it and be like, oh yeah, we'll just put you in this room with all
Mhm.
the other people. We'll put like they don't want to have them like they don't. It's like hard for them to confront this
Yeah,
different, I guess.
yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Like, also, it's very interesting for me. How do you think, in your opinion, is it important for these people to see the musician like yourself, someone who doesn't hide the disability, someone who is kind of proud of being disabled and sharing it with people? Is it could it actually be helpful for other disabled musicians?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, the like I said before, like finding Wesley Willis, or now that I think of it, there's this other lady. The band's name is Wheelchair Sports Camp, and she makes some cool rap. But I feel like, yeah, I do think having some representation is important because then again, it's like, oh, that person kind of went through something, and I can kind of see myself within them, so I know it's possible. When people don't see someone, I feel like then at least when I was younger, I definitely was like, oh, maybe I can't do that because I'm this way, or maybe I'm not like allowed to, or I don't know. Just, technically, you are, but just in your head, you have these narratives that can play.
Mhm.
So I think it is important.
Yeah, and how do you think if you ever had more visible representation of disabled people in media, just in everything that surrounds you, would it be helpful for you? Like, would it be inspiring for you in your childhood and teenage? Um, and would it be um, good for you and yeah, like helpful in any way?
I think so because what I've realized with a lot of people who are handicapped, um, they have this. They're so real. They just have to be real, and so there's just something so nice about whatever little. maybe a quirk that they have or thing that they use to, like, I love to smile, and I have my thing that I do when I talk to people about it, like my jokes and everything. And I think just, yeah, I do think having more of that scene is important, because then again, people don't feel that. Hopefully the goal would be to, like, when I say it, oh yeah, I had a stroke when I was younger, not have, oh, I'm sorry, like that really sucks, like I feel so bad for you. Instead of being like that, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of, that's different, that's just something else to value, but I
Yeah,
feel a certain way.
that's so typical answer. I face it all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a wheelchair user. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why? It's nothing to be sorry about. Just, yeah, are you comfortable when people are curious about your disability, when they are asking questions about it? Or,
Yeah, I love it. I actually really love it. In fact, yeah, I kind of, this also goes hand in hand. It's like people are afraid to joke about it with me, but I think it's the way that we joke about it. Oftentimes, I think there's a, like, a punching down thing that people can do, and so maybe that's why they get weirded out. But I honestly think that, like, disabled comedians, I don't know if you know the show Kill Tony, but he's got a lot of people on there with
yeah,
very disabilities, and they're so funny because they just lean all the way into it. And I think the way that they make the joke, it's more people reacting to them than, oh, I have this thing that I have to deal with itself. Like, for example, having Down syndrome in and of itself isn't funny, but how people react to you having Down syndrome is super funny. I feel like,
mhm.
like a, or like I have a stroke. I might, like, people oftentimes like, oh, I just had a stroke or something. I'll be like, oh, I just had a second stroke. I don't know, but being more open with it and embracing it and valuing it as a experience, I think brings it into the light more and makes it less weird or different, and just more, I think it goes into that thing like, oh, you're not normal. What, or like, you're special. I don't, what did I do to be special? I didn't, I'm just a person. Like, I don't know. Just by existing, I'm special. That whole thing.
Do you already have like the circles of fans of your band? And so has been some special moments with your audience so far.
Yes. Basically we have this one, the one song that where I specifically talk about being disabled.
Mm-hmm.
People love it because we have this one line. It's like, I'm retarded, but you're fucking stupid. Because it's like, oh, like, people will be like, oh, they're retarded. They're like, they use it in a word where it's like, oh, like, that's like really dumb. But yeah, it's like, it's taking that. It's like, yeah, I am that, but you're just dumb for thinking the way that you're thinking. So then having that line, like, yeah, I am disabled, but everyone seeing me in, like, as a disease is freaking stupid. And so having that call and response and having everyone really like get hyped for it, I think is that's got to be the best moment. Like when that happens in the shows, because then people just go crazy after that. Like, we have the mosh pit, and then I'll go into the pit with them, and I think, yeah, that's always my favorite part.
Yeah, that's excellent. Have you ever faced some kind of discrimination in the rock scene? And have you had any problems with your disability to organize a performance, the concert, on the every stage of performance?
And within the punk scene, no, not at all. And organizing, no, I think people are super, super adamant about, like, including everyone. I mean, that's in our local scene. I hope it's like that within more places too, but so far, like, people have really been receptive to it and wanted to include it because I think it doesn't necessarily get seen as much. And so yeah, I feel lucky again though, because I don't know if people necessarily know that I have, like, if I'm sitting down, I don't think people will necessarily see my disability. Whereas like when I'm walking around,
Yeah,
and so that, I think maybe I should definitely talk about that more within the songs, where it's like my condition in and of itself, I have like some privilege as a disabled person where I can hide it more, whereas other people might not. They might be affected by it. I've had a friend in a wheelchair who on the bus, like, people will move them in their wheelchair just so that they're not inconvenienced, like they're not being an inconvenience to other people, which is really weird because like that's a part of them. It's like if someone were to push me or something to the side just for, I don't know, just trying to live.
yeah. Speaking about the future of your band, how do you see it? Like, maybe do you have some musicians or more bands that you would like to collaborate with?
Yes, oh my goodness, we want to try to go down into LA, and there's this one punk band named Spunk
Uh,
that is really, really good energy, and they also do a lot of work with different, like 805 on DocuFund, or Shivra, I believe, with different organizations that help people who have been affected by ICE. So yeah, but I love their kind of explosiveness, and they go in and they talk to the crowd. It's like, how you doing tonight? And just like completely just make it the stage and the crowd, everyone's an equal, instead of like, oh, you coming to see someone, like, no, you're also in this with them kind of energy.